Welcome back, Tribe. TikTok is making young girls go completely insane. I have to source clips from there all the time, believe me. Been knowing that one, Tim.
We have this story from the Daily Mail. Addicted to being sad. Yep. Teenage girls with invisible illnesses, known as spoonies, post TikToks of themselves crying or in hospital to generate thousands of likes as experts raise concerns over internet-induced wave of mass anxiety.
This is real.
It's true that young women are getting depressed because of Instagram and TikTok. What happens to these young girls on social media? They'll post a picture of themselves, get 100 likes and go, ooh, 100. The next day they get 80. Mm-hmm. They get depressed. They panic. Why aren't I getting likes? They delete the photo and repost one. Can I do better? Can I do better? Not realizing, bro, it's like 2 a.m. People are asleep. Calm down.
I knew girls who would, when they traveled out of the country, they would time their Instagram posts to go up. They'd like set alarms for like 3 a.m. So it was the correct time to post in America.
What?
They got the maximum likes. Like, I didn't even grow up with TikTok. Like, this is crazy.
Right. And I think social media is really morphed too, where not only are we seeking validation through the likes, but your depression and anxiety is affirmed through social media. Mm-hmm. Like, social media used to be a highlight reel for people's lives. You follow these influencers, but you know it's not real. Like, they're in Hawaii, but they're probably arguing with their boyfriends behind the scenes, whatever the case may be. Now it's a trend to cry on social media. It's a trend to show your panic attacks, and that gets you millions of likes.
Or having like anxiety coping. Like, here are my anxiety copes.
Yeah, if you've been down the rabbit hole of TikTok, you'll see that the post or whatever content that gets most rewarded here in the States or wherever outside of China is literally the most negative stuff, the most damaged people mentally. That's the stuff that goes viral, or should I say is allowed to go viral. And then it creates these little echo chambers where everybody starts to, quote, feel the same way. And they all gather and literally drag each other down like crabs in a bucket with these half the time imaginary problems. I mean, they're literally inventing stuff. They're inventing words on TikTok. And again, this is just another symptom of people trying to belong, people that aren't getting any attention and love at home. Think about it. Our nuclear family's broken. These people probably have a single parent household where the parent's gone all day. Nobody cares about what they do. Nobody's checking in on them. They're glued to their phone or their tablets, computer screens, whatever, and they just have unfeathered access to these communities, especially when they're small children, or I should say young people, who's very susceptible to ideology. So they get swayed into these communities, and that's their form of belonging to somebody, to a group.
Or here's my OCD copes, or here are these things that I think I'm doing that are actually very strange behaviors.
Or misspelling words.
So, that'll do it too.
Yeah. So it's true that if you misspell a word in your title, you'll get more engagement as people want to correct you.
Wow.
So what happened is a bunch of YouTubers started intentionally misspelling words, like simple typos. Mm-hmm. And then little kids who were watching it started misspelling the words that way, thinking it was spelled correctly. Mm. Yeah, social media is melting the brains of humanity. I gotta tell you.
And particularly young girls. I did an episode one time because I was scrolling on TikTok. I do have the app, regrettably, but I was scrolling.
It's part of your job.
It is part of my job. But I kept getting videos of young girls who have Tourette's-like tics, and I kept getting them. It's multiple girls, and I was getting recommended these videos, and upon watching them, found that several of them had the exact same tic. So I started looking into this and doctors talking about it, and they actually had doctors saying these girls are being so heavily influenced by a mix of anxiety and TikTok, they are developing functional neurological disorders that are real. They're not just puppeting and parroting. They're actually developing these anxiety-induced tics.
I'm a huge fan of video games, but man, we are tweaking our brains with modern technology.
Yes.
No, but think of
it's like a big experiment, dude.
The emotional development that teenagers are going through. Like, part of being a teenager is looking at your peers around you and figuring out what the social norms.
That's an important point. You want to fit in. And what if everything you see on social media is all these crazy people with their insane ideologies? That's what you have to do now to fit in. Hello. I can't even say what I really want on that topic. So we'll cover that one for another day. But you know what's in the mainstream. You know what's the most protected class in the world right now.
Are. So if you're only being fed people who are behaving in, maybe they really do have Tourette's and they have, an issue and they're trying to talk about it or bring awareness. But if you're constantly being served like, I have anxiety, I have depression, I have Tourette's, like you are then trained to be like, maybe I do too. Yep. And you start seeing it anywhere because that's part of the emotional growth that teenagers are going through. Like we should keep them away from this stuff. It's not like we shouldn't talk about mental health or anything like that, but like we don't need to shove it down their throats so constantly that they become paranoid they themselves have these issues.
One of the things is that I've noticed is it's not not so important how many followers you have. It's the quality of the followers. Are they really, why are they following you? Is it because they're really listening to what you're saying, or is it because they want to laugh when you fall down?
Yep.
I don't want those people following me. And the problem with social media is just the number shows on your page, so they think more is better. But then you get the direct subscribers. This is where you start to realize the quality of the follower or the watcher or the viewer or whatever is much better, because you might have 10,000 people paying you $10 a month. He might have 10 million people watching paying him nothing. He's way worse off. You're way better off with less followers, more quality. And hopefully young women, we can teach them that maybe through direct
don't realize
subscriptions.
Well, and they see the
OnlyFans.
internet as the be all and end all. I don't remember what study came out, but most young people, like 1 in 4, want to be social media influencers. This is a whole new area of the world that they are completely devoted to.
I think I remember that study. They wanted to be YouTubers. Meanwhile, in other countries, they want to be engineers. They want to be doctors. They want to be architects. Over here on this side of the pond, we want to be the very thing our kids are consuming on a daily basis, social media influencers. Because they sell them that highlight reel lifestyle. These people, these so-called influencers, are traveling the world getting paid to do it. Ads, sponsorships, etc. Living a fake lifestyle. And the idea is what's attractive. And they never get a break from it, man. It's nonstop. You used to get a commercial break and be able to tune it out when you watch TV. The show would literally be like, now we go on a commercial break. And then some crap plays from Big Pharma talking about how you're feeling depressed. Have you had a mood swing? Can't you sleep anymore? Well, and your brain just tunes the crap out. It's like, this is not my show. I don't care. Now you're getting essentially dosed with advertisement without even knowing it, thinking it's reality. Like the person that's going on a trip to that hotel doesn't tell you that the hotel paid for this person to go there and show off this amazing time they're having. And meanwhile, you're thinking this person's living the most amazing lifestyle ever. And it's like, it's a covert advertisement, and you're not even aware you're being sold and manipulated every single day. And it could be on the smallest post ever, dude. It could be a post of some guy. It could be a post of some guy throwing up an okay, or some chick taking a picture on a balcony, and there's a little product behind her, next to her, something almost inconspicuous. You wouldn't even notice. That's just a product placement ad. And you have no idea. Or people now essentially are photoshopping themselves. This is how egregious it's gotten. People are photoshopping themselves as if they're traveling the world, or they've been to well-known places. And it's all paid advertisement. It's all fake. What you see online is such a scam, bro. It's all a finesse. This is why people who heavily engage in social media are the most depressed, have the most mental issues, self-esteem problems, you name it.
Right? And they will never have a break from it if that's the career they choose to pursue.
Yeah, it's an augmentation to your career, social media. No one is just going to land on being a social media influencer and that's it. Because if your life is boring, no one's going to watch your social media. You've got to do something cool with your life. And then the social media will be there to show everyone what you're doing.
Or you have to...
And social media rewards the extremes. So you got to do the most extreme stuff to stand out today, because of all the competition of everybody doing stupid stuff just to try to stand out. So we're churning out people that are living these lifestyles that are absolutely bonkers just 10 years ago. And this is what they have to do to get attention. And of course, it's rewarded. There's a feedback loop here. You do something crazy, shave your hair, light it on fire, whatever, stupid challenges, do this and that. And that's the stuff that gets views. That's what gets likes. That's what gets comments. So you're rewarded to do more crazy, more degenerate stuff. And there goes our social fabric.
Sell all of your personal information. You have to, as a young teen mom, start talking about your past relationships. Or, as you get married, you have to give all the details of everything that's going on. You have to sell who you are in order to please people, which is a really morally corrupt way of living. Yeah.
I remember when I was younger and, like MySpace first came out and stuff like that. We were on, I think it was like LiveJournal was first.
Yeah,
Zanga. I was on CompuServe. Because my family had computers. Then you got AOL.
Yeah.
Then with AOL, you had GeoCities and other sites that you could make your own site. Then eventually you got like LiveJournal. Then you got Friendster. You guys remember Friendster?
Hell yeah.
And then MySpace.
Yeah.
And I remember Facebook came out, and it was like all the cool kids started migrating to Facebook. And I would see these posts from people that just looked so awesome and fun. And I was like, how come they're doing all this really awesome stuff and I'm not? And then, it wasn't until later I realized like, oh, they weren't. They were faking cool things so they could look cool, and like that was it was marketing. And so we end up seeing this highlight reel of their life of all the coolest things they've done, but they staged a lot of it. They try to make it look as cool as possible. They try to make their lives look like movies so that you're jealous of them.
Yep.
My favorite is I know girls who have when they go through a breakup, right? They start posting on their Instagram and all their story all the time because they can't be the one that's at home and like sad. They have to be busy and cool and having a great time.
And their mind is somewhere else. Like these people don't realize they're robbing themselves of their own actual individual lives for the sake of other people who are viewing from their bedrooms.
Yes, all they're
It's
giving away
insane.
is their own time, which ends up being their lives. And I do want to say before we move on from the all this AOC talk, she's talking about holding two completely different views in her mind.
An identity that a lot of left.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's much here. Let's see.
Have a family and
Do whatever
and
you want.
like-
You can always do politics later.
Wicked
Yikes.
cycle. And then if you decide at 30 that you want a family, but you don't have them.
They go on and just talk more politics, but in general, the message here is social media is the devil. It does affect your thinking. It does affect your outcome in life. Because of that, it will make you broke, keeping up with the Joneses, trying to look like you're living a highlight reel as well, turning into a material slave. It's like the most perfect weapon for corporations. Social media literally enslaves you to consume and spend non-stop till you're dead, essentially. What better way to break someone down than to tie their self-esteem to material possessions? Welcome to modern enslavement. You're only as valuable as the things you own. And they make you believe that. And that is the key to their control. That's the secret sauce. When you finally realize that you are not your things, that you're a person, and your value is derived from in here, then you break the chains, man. Then you're able to start making the strides in life to get ahead and live a fulfilling, happy life. And that's one of the red pill truths to happiness. But, be careful dealing out that message in the atmosphere today of so-called cancel culture and the outsized power some of these companies have to, disappear people once you don't agree with what they have to say or what they're doing. We're inching closer and closer into a world where if you say something about a company, corporation, whatever, they'll just make a few phone calls and disappear you. That's not reality yet. They still have reasons for disappearing people. We know who's in the mainstream right now fighting that. But sooner or later, it's going to come to the average man who just voices his opinion. I already have comments of it on the community section in previous posts where we cover this stuff of guys literally getting their jobs, their bosses called from a Facebook post of something they didn't agree with. And people will really come after your place of business, your place of work. They'll try to shut you down, cancel you, call you out simply because you have a differing point of view. That's the world we live in today. We're seeing it with Andrew Tate in a more high profile case where he got a bunch of stuff canceled down to his Uber account. But best believe it's coming to a normal person near you because this power grab, it's too much of an opportunity for them to let pass up. There's insane potential for abuse here and consolidating their grip on ruling everybody. Anywho, let's not get too deep into that. We'll do that on a live stream on Rumble or something later. Get into the inner workings of society. But if you like today's episode, don't forget to subscribe. Follow us on Rumble, of course. Become a supporter on Locals, and we'll see you on the next one. Free yourselves, friends.